Can we be honest for a second? Can we be honest with ourselves about mass shootings? Can we please not pretend that a mass shooting is the same as a mass stabbing? And then can we also not pretend that a mass shooting done with an AR 15, AK 47, or even a handgun with, like, let's say a Glock 19 with 30 round magazine, is the same as a shooting with a Smith & Wesson 9mm that can only hold between 7 and 17 rounds? Because this is the argument that I'm getting from my friends on Facebook. And it's really kind of sad when this is the things that you have to stoop to. Because people who are advocating for gun control, for example, there's two things that I advocate for: restrictions on high capacity magazines and universal background checks. I think those are two very simple steps that we could do that would actually have an effect. All right, most of the people who do these mass shootings aren't trained, all right? At least so far, that's what we've seen. You know, it's been kids in high school, it's been some dude who fucking lost it on in Orlando. I don't know. I don't remember what his thing was. I think he was gay and he didn't want people knowing he was gay. I don't know, something like that. You did have the guy, the army guy, but he wasn't infantry or anything. So, and I'm not saying people who aren't infantry aren't trained with weapons. I was in infantry in the Marine Corps. I was a 6173, which is a crew chief. So I had my share of time with weapons, but I was also a range coach. So I had a lot of time with the M16 and M4s. I'm saying this because I don't understand this argument that you guys keep making. Like you make it in your brain, you think it's a solid argument when you're actually making the argument for gun control. People keep bringing up this mass stabbing in China because in China it's really hard to get a gun. I don't know if any civilians in China are allowed to have guns, but these 5 guys went to a train. They had everything planned out ahead of time, and got on this train full of people and started stabbing everyone. One would stab them, they'd run one way, another person would be there, he'd stab them, they'd run back. So it's like shooting fish in a barrel, stabbing fish in a barrel. Here's the problem with that argument. Yeah, a lot of people died. 29 people died. And about like 130 other people were stabbed, but didn't die. So you have 5 people on a train full of people, full of hundreds of people, trying to kill as many people as they could. And they were only able to kill 29. 5 people planned out. Compare this to Orlando. One guy, I think he had more than one weapon. I don't remember exactly. But I know the AR was one, and I think he had other handguns. 49 people dead. One guy. 58 injured. One guy. Now there was this high school kid who did the same thing in I don't know where. It's in Pittsburgh, somewhere in Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh. In a high school, he ran in with two knives, trying to stab. I'm assuming trying to kill as many people as he could. Ended up stabbing 22 people, including a security guard. 0 deaths. Okay. Now imagine if this kid had an AR-15. Oh wait, we don't have to imagine. We don't have to imagine because we've seen it. We've seen it at Sandy Hook, where 28 people were killed by one guy, 20 of whom were little kids, and 2 injured. So he was able to kill a lot more people than he injured. I wonder why. Could it be because of the weapon he was using? Now people are like, well, if you're gonna argue that, then we need to argue that. We need to take away guns too, handguns. Okay, it's not the same thing. Well, the YouTube shooter used a gun. You're right, she used a 9mm. I don't know the model, but I know it's a Smith & Wesson. So the capacity, the magazine capacity on the Smith & Wesson, if it was an M&P Shield, it was 7 bullets. They have an extender for like a 10-round mag, I think. And then it can be anywhere from 7 to 17, okay? She shot 4 people. None of them died. Then she killed herself. Not the same thing. It is not the same thing, and I don't know why you guys sit there and try to argue that this is the kind of thing that, like, it's not an argument against gun control. Because if she went to Vegas and got a room, I don't remember how high it was, but, you know, if she had a room overseeing a country concert, she pulled out her 9mm and started shooting, I doubt she would have killed anyone. But now you have the same situation where a guy comes up there and he has multiple ARs, and I forgot what else he had, but main weapon was an AR with a bump stock. Which, by the way, the whole thing about the bump stock, that's... Should they restrict it? Sure, but it's not going to make that big a difference. All right? Anyways, so the Vegas shooter, AR-15, 59 dead. 527 injured. 527 injured and 59 dead. One person. Give him a knife. Tell me how many people he killed. Give him a 9mm. Give him a 45. How many people does he kill? So these are the arguments that you guys are putting out there. They're not the same. It's not the same thing, okay? And I don't know how to get it through to your head. Again, what I advocate for is smaller magazines or restrictions on high-capacity magazines and universal background checks. Now, why do I think this would make a difference? Well, because most of these people, like I said, aren't trained with weapons. They can't pull off a quick reload. All right? So if you're constantly having to reload, you have more opportunity for people to fight back, or you have more opportunity for people to get away. if you have to have a background check on any weapon you buy, and if this background check includes, mental health status, then you take guns from a lot of people who probably don't need guns. I don't see why that's so hard to understand. And I don't understand the argument that people make when they say, oh, well, gotta take knives away. Oh, someone used a 9mm. Gotta take handguns away. Nobody's coming for your guns. At least not till recently. I did see some people at the March for Our Lives calling for, banning all guns, which I'm not for. I have a ton of guns. All right. And I'm not giving them up. But if you tell me, hey, you know what? Sorry, you can't buy a 30-round magazine anymore. Okay. Sorry, you have to get a background check for every weapon you get. Done. I've had a background check for every weapon I get, and I live in Arizona. Well, sorry, but you can't buy ARs or AKs anymore. The way that it happened in the 90s with the assault rifle ban. Nos que non back. You're not coming to get the ones I have. But that's fine. So, point of the story is, if you are going to make the argument that a mass stabbing is the same as a mass shooting, and that a mass shooting with a 9mm is the same as a mass shooting with an AR-15 or an AK-47, then no one's going to take it seriously, because it's not a serious argument. Peace.